Watch closely. This quick moment could change a life forever. It's early in the day, just another shift in the workshop. A worker steps up to a lathe that's already running. Maybe he's inspecting it. Maybe he's adjusting something. But in a split second, his clothing gets pulled in. The rotation catches him, and the situation escalates instantly. There's no time to react. He's trapped by the machine's momentum. This is a textbook case of overlooked safety. The machine's spinning, there's no protective guard, and the worker appears to be wearing loose clothing. Those three factors combine to create a serious hazard. Here's what should have been in place. Fitted clothing or sleeves rolled up to avoid snag risks. Proper guarding around rotating parts. An emergency stop switch within reach. Clear lockout/tagout procedures for servicing or inspection. Every machine has power, and every second near one demands respect. This worker was just making an adjustment. Then everything went wrong in seconds. Here's a regular shift on the production floor. A worker approaches a roll-to-roll machine, maybe clearing a jam or checking the material feed. Everything seems normal, until he reaches too far. In an instant, the machine grabs hold. The rotating roller pulls him in. No time to resist, no second chance to react. Another worker runs in, but by then, the damage is done. The machine was live. No guards, no lockout, no barrier between human and hazard, and critically, no safe access point for inspection or feeding. Let's talk prevention. Install fixed or interlock guards around rollers. Use a lockout-tagout procedure before any adjustment. Provide feeding tools, never hands. Train all operators to stay clear of pinch and pull-in zones. Rotating rollers don't wait. If your body's in the way, it's already too late. A suspended load. A moment of tension. And then, everything breaks loose. This worker thought he had control, but the steels had other plans. This footage captures a common but risky task, guiding a crane while it lifts a massive steel coil. The worker is acting as a spotter, helping direct the operation. But look closely. As the crane begins lifting, the coil shifts unexpectedly. Something isn't right. Within seconds, the load becomes unstable, rotates violently, and slams into the railing. The worker, just inches away, nearly takes the full hit. Let us know in the comments. What industry are you in? Steelworks? Logistics? Heavy equipment? Drop it below. This was a perfect storm of small mistakes. Improper rigging or sling placement on the coil. Load not centered or secured. And worst of all, the spotter stood inside the danger radius. No barrier, no buffer. Here's what should have happened. Use certified rigging techniques for cylindrical loads like coils. 3 workers, 1 open vat, and then, boom, a burst of hot liquid. These workers are standing way too close during what appears to be a pour or transfer. Something goes wrong. Pressure, contamination, or contact with moisture, and it sends hot material flying. The flash is violent. Everyone scrambles. Here's the issue. No face shields, no protective curtain or barrier, and way too close during a high-risk operation. Always use splash protection, proper PPE, and maintain a safe perimeter during molten metal handling. When the heat hits, there's no warning. She chose to use the shortcut. Then this happened. She tries to squeeze through a narrow space between a support pillar and a running machine instead of going around the pillar. It looks like a harmless shortcut, but her jacket brushes up against a rotating part. In an instant, it grabs her and pulls hard. But watch this. Her coworker reacts fast, jumps in, and manages to shut it down. She walks away with 0 injuries. Unbelievable, and incredibly lucky. This is my advice. That little time you're trying to save could cost you a lot. Always follow the designated paths for your safety. Also, avoid loose clothing and long hair in the workplace. They can get caught in machines, especially those unforgiving rotating parts. Designed for safety, not just convenience. And always have someone to watch your back. Let's talk about something you definitely don't want to mess with. Metal dust explosions. A metal dust explosion is a violent, fast-burning combustion event that occurs when fine metal particles become suspended in air and ignite. What you're looking at here isn't just a spark, it's a time bomb waiting to go off. When metals like aluminum or magnesium are cut, ground, or polished, they create fine dust particles. If those particles become suspended in the air at high enough concentrations, guess what? All it takes is a tiny ignition, a spark, friction, even static, and boom, the whole room becomes a fuel-air bomb. Why? Because that dust is basically fuel, and in a confined space with poor ventilation, it turns your workshop into a pressure cooker. And as you saw in this footage, it happens instantly, no second chances. So what's the lesson? Keep dust collection systems running. Avoid accumulation on floors, surfaces, and machines. Never underestimate a little dust. It's not harmless. Stay sharp. Dust can kill. Watch closely. This isn't just a guy flame cutting a rail. What you're seeing is one of the biggest hidden dangers in demolition work: elastic potential energy. When rails are bent or under tension, they store massive amounts of energy, like a compressed spring made of steel. Cutting them isn't just metal work. It's triggering a release. And when that energy snaps back, it happens fast and with violent force. If you're not ready for it, it could be the last cut you ever make. This footage shows a worker closing a sliding gate at the entrance of a facility. Everything seems routine until the truck pulls forward. In that instant, his right hand becomes trapped between the moving gate and the fixed post. Now, gates like these may not look dangerous compared to large machines, but they operate with significant force and momentum. Once something gets caught, there's very little chance of pulling back in time. This is why sliding gates should always be handled with extra caution. Use the designated handles, keep your hands clear of pinch points, and maintain communication with any nearby drivers before moving the gate. Here's the lesson. Safety isn't just about avoiding big, obvious hazards. Sometimes it's the everyday tasks, the ones we think nothing of, that carry the greatest risks. Stay sharp and always respect the potential danger in even the simplest jobs. This worker was setting up material under a heavy press when the unthinkable happened. The entire press plate suddenly detached from its holder above and came crashing down right at him. No warning, no time to react. This highlights a different danger. Not just human error, but equipment failure. Machines are only as safe as their maintenance. When bolts, supports, or locking mechanisms aren't properly inspected, gravity does the rest, and it doesn't forgive. The lesson here? Preventive maintenance is non-negotiable. Every press, every lift, every suspended load must be checked regularly for wear, cracks, and loose fittings. Safety locks and secondary supports should always be in place to catch a falling load if the main system fails. Because in moments like this, it's not about worker skill. It's about whether the machine was safe to begin with. Inspect, maintain, and double secure. Lives depend on it. Here we see a man notice his truck starting to roll. Instead of letting it go, he rushes in front to try and stop it with his body. But trucks weigh thousands of pounds. There's no way a human can hold that back. In seconds, the vehicle pins him against the trailer. This is a common but dangerous instinct, trying to fight machinery with muscle. The right defense isn't strength, it's prevention. That means always engaging the parking brake, chalking the wheels, and making sure the ground is level before stepping away from a vehicle. The lesson is simple. If something this heavy starts moving, don't play hero. Get clear, stay alive. Machines can be repaired, trucks can be recovered, but your body can't take that impact. Safety first, always.